Sometimes you just need to kind of keep your puppies busy. Adult dogs, this will work for too. First thing I'm going to show you is a little toy that rocks back and forth. This one's kind of nice because it has an adjustable area for the size of the kibble or treat you're putting into it. It also fills from the top, so it's pretty fast to fill. And you can see how Maggie is rolling it around. It wobbles back and forth. There's a little bit of a learning curve on this one, but not much. I consider this to be kind of a pacifier. The next one is a ball, real simple. It's got a little jaw in there you put the food into. This one rolls around, and as it rolls, the food drops out of it. Again, you might want to make sure the food is the correct size for the opening so that it doesn't all come out at once. The next one we're going to look at is a Kong. I think most of you are probably familiar with a Kong. I'm going to start out with peanut butter, but if I needed to, I could mash up some dog food with a little bit of peanut butter, put it in there. It would take a little longer for the dog to lick it out. And the next step would probably be to take that mashed up food and freeze it, kind of like a popsicle for your dog, and it takes quite a while for them to chew it and lick it out. He enjoys his. This is a slow feeder. You could also use this to keep your dogs busy for a little while. You can see that those little kind of pointy parts will prevent your dog from getting the food out really fast. Some people use this if their dog eats their regular meals too fast. You can see how quickly she can eat a little pile of food on the floor. She's kind of a hoover. The slow feeder just kind of creates a little more time, and it's probably better for the digestion. This toy I consider to be more of a puzzle. It's got a little rope stopper. Then the dog has to figure out how to get that rope stopper out of the way before they can get the food that comes out of the top. She's learned to kind of tip it. When she tips the back end of it, she's learned that it kind of falls through. Again, there's a learning curve on this one too. They need to kind of experiment a bit to figure out the best ways of getting the food out. This one is a puzzle also. You can see that each little container space has a place for you to put food in it, and it spins around. I believe there are 8 little spaces, and we just kind of put an obstacle for the first one. They have to figure out to take that little bone out. And then they can smell the food in the rest of the areas and have to figure out how to rotate the top disc. She's using her paw. Eventually she'll start to figure out that her nose may work better. And again, some of these things you need to help your dog kind of explore. Here's kind of a fun one. It's using kind of stuffed soft toys. If your dog's a chewer, you're going to obviously have to supervise this one as well as all the other ones that we've been looking at. This one there's a bit of a learning curve on this one too, because they have to figure out that those little balls come out of the holes. So you can kind of help them figure out how to get them out to start out with. You might want to kind of pop one out, show it to them, pop it back in. So we can also make some homemade toys. So those things were all commercial, but you can make some homemade toys out of the things around the house. The first one is a tennis ball, an old tennis ball you may have. You could drill a hole in it, and then the food would drop out, kind of similar to that ball with a mouth. This one was actually part of a toy. You could use just a simple cardboard box. In this case, I put the flaps kind of down on it so it's harder for her to get it out. You can see she could have a lot of fun moving it around. Egg cartons are also really nice and useful. It's kind of like that spinny toy, pink spinny toy that you saw in the commercial group of toys. And it'll take her a while to figure out how to pop it open or how to get those cookies out of there. And here's another toy that you can make too out of a simple muffin tin with some balls over the top. In each of the little muffin tin areas, there's some cookies under the balls. And again, there's a learning curve to some of these. This one is kind of fun, and you can just use the things you find around the house. Bottles are fun too. They make noise. You can put food in them so that the food will come out. You could, if you wanted to, just make a noisemaker out of it by putting the cap on it. And this is kind of a combination of the tippy toy and the rolling ball. Oh, I think the cookies were a little small in this case. And this is a snuffle mat. You can find them online. You can find them in different places. People make them too, so I put them under the homemade ones. But it's just like a slow feeder where they have to poke around and look for those pieces of food. This is kind of a nice focus activity for them. Keeps them in a particular area and concentrating on finding those pieces of food. You can also hide food around your room. I'm putting it down low if you are concerned about your dog jumping on items or things in your room. Just keep the hiding food down low. And she thinks this is great fun. That'll keep her busy for a while looking for those bits of food in the room. You could use a variety of rooms too where they have to go from room to look for the food. I'm using Cheerios. They work good for treats if your dog likes them. I hope you enjoyed these ideas for puzzles and pacifiers for your puppy. Whether you buy these toys or make your own, either way, a busy puppy is a good puppy.